Hi everyone! Welcome to another 31 Days of Horror with me. And I'm going to be talking about another movie, it's actually like a set of movies, from the 50 best horror movies you've never seen. Oddly enough, I just borrowed this series, this trilogy, from one of my friends like 2 weeks before I found this documentary. And he advised me, don't watch them consecutively. What did I do? I watched them all in a row in one night, marathoned. Feast 1, 2, and 3. I regret this decision. My mind is still boggled by this experience, and I'm going to say I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. Feast 1 was excellent, and I'll go into why in a moment. Feast 2 and 3 start off basically right after the first, and the third right after the second. Like, you literally one storyline with a little bit of recap. Before I tell you why I liked the first one, I would like to go into why the second and third one were not enjoyable by me. They were wrong. And they were wrong in all sorts of the wrong ways. Now, all three of them have the same creature, the feasting creature, which was interesting design. However, you see a lot of creature genitalia, which could be up your alley, could be not, but when there's a creature with a lot of genitalia, things happen that I don't necessarily support in movies, like rape, a lot of unconsented sex of people and objects and animals. Yes, I said objects. I still can't, process some of the stuff that happened. And I don't think I ever want to process some of the stuff that happened. The other reason I didn't really like the second one is it immediately starts out with violence against an animal. I hate that. I really, really, really hate that. The story of the first one was so good. The characters were really interesting and I really liked them. And some of the characters do carry over to the second and third one. However, they weren't the characters that I necessarily liked, and where it seemed like the story would naturally go with after the first. So that was really disappointing to me, and it could be they couldn't get the actors to come on for the second and third one, so it changed their idea of the script. I have no idea. I don't know. But I wish it had continued for the second, and if they needed a third movie, with the characters the original left off with, instead of going a completely different direction and introducing a ton of characters that had nothing to do with the first one. There were only a few characters I actually liked out of the second and third one, where the first one had a lot of really good, interesting characters to me, but then most of them died, as a typical, horror movie. So I guess it is what it is. And since I don't recommend the second and the third one, I'm just gonna ruin those two for you, but I won't ruin the first one because I do recommend that one. The writers literally for 2 movies didn't really know what they wanted to do. They had no clue where they were going to end this movie, to the point where most of the characters that had survived through the second and the third got smashed by a robot. Where did these creatures come from? Did they create the robot? Where did the robot come from? We don't get any answers in any of these movies. And then it was just over, and you're suffering through this terrible script, not badly acted, mind you, it was well acted, but this terrible script with this pointless plot for them to literally just be annihilated by a robot. To the point that the ending credits feature a very talented mariachi singer playing his guitar, singing about how ridiculous the last 2 movies were. And it's not his fault, so don't hate him. He's just paid to sing. Literally, that is how this trilogy ends, and you're sitting here going, what? I just still am baffled. Baffled by what I saw. The first and the third movie pop up with this stats of the character when they get introduced and predicts how long they're gonna last through the movie, and it is hilarious the things they come up with for you to kind of get a feel for the character, because there's not enough time to develop all the characters, because there's a lot of characters for how short this movie really is. There are interesting death scenes in all 3 of these movies. I do rate the first one 4 Zombieverse out of 5. It would have gotten a 5, but there is one scene towards the end that I can't give it a full rating over. It's the one scene in the entire trilogy that I thought was completely unnecessary. They was purely put in for shock value, did not further the plot. So because of that one scene, I can't give it a 5. If that scene wasn't part of the story, this would easily get a 5. But the trilogy as a whole, I give a 1, which is why I don't recommend watching all 3 of them and just the first one. So stay tuned for more of these movies. 31 days in October, 31 days of horror movie reviews. So from my dark heart to yours, a wonderful day, one day closer to Halloween, and please don't die before my next video.